Good Tuesday morning. It's the main event. Veterans Day, no less. Give a salute to all of our veterans out there and thank everybody for your service. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum, and you know him as 17-year NFL veteran, three-time Super Bowl champion for your Dallas Cowboys. Dale Hellestrae's here, everybody. And silence hits the crowd.
Yes, we need to.
Did I screw something up?
We need to lengthen our commercial break. We need to be made more aware of when the show's starting. As 3 seconds before we go on there, you say, "Don't do what you did yesterday."
Yeah.
That's not the way to start the show.
Don't do it.
That's not the way to start the show.
I watched 2 minutes of the program yesterday because I was busy.
You were busy.
Well, okay. The school down there has zero internet. So once I get onto school property, it's zero internet. I can't watch anymore, stuff like
Your
that.
son can't give you the password?
And all I never asked him. I'm not there enough. Okay. You guys all know my problem with that school. I hate going there. It makes me kind of a grumpy mood to be there.
Did you get kicked out?
No, but the principal comes up and talks to me, and everybody comes up. It's like I'm a celebrity there or something. It's just because, that guy, gotta make sure that guy's happy.
Well, that's the way you are everywhere you go. I hear you that way at SCA.
What? I try to hide at SCA. Whatever you're hearing there is complete false. Till the end of the game when I go down and talk to coach. Other than that, I hide.
Down on the sideline next to Sheehan making play calls.
Only when he asks me to. He says, Helly's not doing what he's supposed to do. Get down here, Steve. I said, okay. Yeah.
How was the parade yesterday? Did your son knock it out of the park?
Marched like a madman.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they marched in straight lines. Military stuff. It was fun. It's always a good time. It is interesting because the first year I went to that 4 years ago now, whatever it was like not a lot of people were there. I mean, it's a tough day, right? It's whatever day before Veterans Day, so sometimes a Monday, sometimes people have to work and stuff. It's an hour long, but I've noticed every year since it's gotten busier. Like I got there yesterday at 9:00. Normally it's like easily and I have to. Most of the seats were full at 9:00.
So do they have a makeshift thing set up, or do they do it at the football field?
No, they actually do it around the stadium there. So around the school. The school's kind of like a box. It's boxed in. No, it's right there at the school because they have cars and stuff. This one was pared back though because they didn't have a lot of the military stuff there. Because I don't know if you guys have heard, but there's a government shutdown right now. So nobody around military or anything unless it's a specialized deal. Like NASCAR didn't have a flyover, a couple weeks ago. They didn't do a flyover because the government shut down stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was pared back a little bit. The SWAT people are there. Did you know, though, Queen Creek High School has a Chick-fil-A club? I kid you not, folks. I learned this yesterday, too, because they were doing all the clubs and everything.
Oh, really?
They have a Chick-fil-A club. The Chick-fil-A mascot was marching in front of the Chick-fil-A. What do you think the Chick-fil-A club does, Dale?
They have lunch at Chick-fil-A?
Right? What's the Chick-fil-A? That to me seemed like somebody was a credit short for graduation or something and needed something extracurricular to do, and he's like, I'm going to do the Chick-fil-A club. That's what that sounds like to me.
It just flooded back to me. I completely forgot this. My senior year. Going into my senior year, about 6 of my sports buddies, we were only in one group. It was called the Gents or whatever. And we said, hey, I have an idea. Let's make up 8 new clubs.
Yeah.
And so in our yearbook, I can't remember the names of there's no verification or, hey, what do you do?
So you just made up names or you actually, okay.
Yeah, there's 8 of us in this picture for that club.
Dale, the Chick-fil-A cow was marching in front of them. It tells you this is a legit club.
Yeah. Or just one of them bought a costume.
Oh, that's true. No, it was the real one. If it was a knockoff, it was a pretty dang good knockoff of it. And everything. I tell you this also, the ROTC people got free Chick-fil-A yesterday. So after they got done, so that tells me a Chick-fil-A club How's that? How about that? You imagine
No.
you're applying for Harvard. Clubs.
President
Chick-fil-A.
of the Chick-fil-A club.
I'm fascinated by this. You know, 'cause they got all the other standard clubs out there. You know, they have the esports club and all of that stuff. And then just the Chick-fil-A club goes walking by and they announce them. And I was like, wait, what? Did I hear that right? But it's always good. My last one that I got to attend as Ethan graduates this year. Maybe if his grades don't get up. Probably watching right now.
He doesn't listen to you at home. You think he's going to watch you on TV?
No, it's really weird because every once in a while he'll say something and I'll be like, wait, what? Aren't you in school? What are you doing listening? What are you in school? And he's got friends at school that listen as well, so it kind of cracks me up a little bit to kind of find that out as you go through it. But that was my day yesterday. And I went home, Dale, took the all-important nap, early nap yesterday.
Jeez.
It was tough.
So I'm
being
here
there.
slaving away, trying to carry Dave through the show and then his Matrix show.
I've never been more relaxed. That's all I'm going to say. Never been more relaxed yesterday. My problem is, and I kid you not, I don't know if anybody of you, one of the reasons that told me, well, two reasons told me to leave the corporate world back in the day. Two things told me it was time to go. One, every day driving into work, I wanted to crash my car. Just not bad enough to hurt myself, but bad enough that I could be like, oh, I can't come in today. I got in a car accident. Oh, I got to deal with this, type of a deal. But then the second thing is when I took days off, I liked them way too much. And I was like, all right, I can not do this and not worry about what I'm going to do on the side. So I got to be careful because I'm not saying I'm leaving this place, but what I'm saying is I enjoy those days off a lot. A lot.
You do like your naps. You do talk about naps a little bit.
But then it was nice because like even Sunday I'm watching the NFL and everything and I'm like, oh, I don't have to like watch it as a sport. I can just watch them for fun. I don't have to talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah, well,
was nice.
and by the way,
What-
the afternoon games put you to sleep anyway. I don't think there was a close one
I
around.
was just going to ask, how'd the Cardinals do?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Oh.
Bruce Cooper comes in on Tuesdays. I'm excited to get him in here and see how riled up he is about look, it was just excruciating pain on Sunday. Those are games that get coaches fired. Let's just leave it that way.
Yeah, just to the naked eye. Again, the one thing, what have we said for 3 years now under Jonathan Gannon?
They play hard.
They play hard.
They play physical.
Even to the bitter end of the season,
Yep.
There were none of those.
Yeah.
Where you're down 35-0 early second quarter and going, what in the hell?
It's not that they were down 35-0 because I expected a horrible game from the Cardinals. Will half their secondaries out, Seattle, and then Seattle doesn't even throw the ball, but they run it 78% of the time.
14 passes, I believe, for Darnold.
So secondary did not matter. It comes down to it. I expected this to be a bad game for the Cardinals in this game. I just didn't think it was going to go well with all the injuries and et cetera. My problem is, Dale, is that in watching film, we knew going into that game, the Seahawks front seven, if they're not the best in football, they're top 2 or 3. Period. End of story. We said it here on this program. And the fact that the Cardinals offense went, who cares? We're just going to run our game plan. Yeah, we'll be able to stop them when you haven't stopped a random cold all season long. Just the amount of people, that fourth down play where they had 2 guys in motions and end up coming back, and both guys don't hit the guy coming up the middle and he blows it up. That is what I have a problem with this Cardinals team, is the coaching staff does not come in prepared. They walked into that game going, we got to get – that game plan was crap. And how long – and then they didn't ever fix it in the first half. They never tried anything different. They just kept going, we're going to keep doing the same. To the point where you saw the same fumble and touchdown twice in a game. Nobody said after the first one, maybe we should shore up the middle of that field, guys, because they're coming right up the middle and they're coming unblocked. Maybe we should shore that up. Not one person said that on the team.
Well,
as a coach.
Since you said you only watched 2 minutes of it, I told Star, I always tape the game so I can let some start.
Oh no, I watched the whole Cardinals game.
no.
I was being sarcastic.
But
Yeah.
I tape the game so I don't have to watch as many commercials. And somehow, some way, I can go to another channel, come back, and hit resume.
Yep.
And usually picks up where it left off. And we come back, resume, and I see the what I thought was the first
Nice.
in the sack, pick up the fumble, DeMarcus Lawrence running the end zone. I go, oh, it must have went back because I tried to fast forward. I go, did it happen again?
Seriously, where were the adjustments?
Okay, and let me I'm going to point this out. You can go wherever you want to.
You're good.
But up in the great Midwest, there's a team that has lions on the side of their helmets.
Yep.
And do you know what the head coach did this week?
Yeah, and they called it out on the broadcast. Everybody noticed during the broadcast that the head coach was on the walkie-talkie thingy a lot at one point, and they questioned, and he was asked after the game something very specific.
And guess what? The head coach didn't like the way the offense was going.
Yep.
So he said, you know what? I'm going to take over play call.
It's even better. It's not even better. Washington, Dan Quinn has said he's taken over play calling. 2 coordinators have been demoted in the last 2 days. Now, Jonathan Gannon's not going to take over the offense because he's a defensive guy.
Coach, right.
But where's the help?
Nope.
Here's the help. Here's the other thing I noticed in the post-game press conference. I go right to it. One, and we'll talk about this with Bruce as well. One, JG was asked specifically, any staff or any changes need to be done after this game? It's not that he said no because you expect him to say no. It's his little scoff in there of, how dare you ask me that question? Here it is, JG on the changes on Sunday.
Do you need to make lineup changes or staff changes at this time?
No.
That is what infuriates you. You can go, you know what, guys, we need to reevaluate this. It's obviously not working. Our game plan wasn't good today. As you guys know, we did not perform the way we wanted to. We're going to look at everything going into this week. Everything is going to be looked at this week, including me. That's how you can answer that. You don't go, no. No.
The answer you give to that question is, the slaughter is still fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
Let me get home. Let me look at the film. Let me evaluate things, and I'll let you guys know on Monday or Tuesday or whenever I meet with you guys.
Yeah, exactly. And
you cannot tell me you're going to watch that film and go, no, we don't need to make any changes.
It's and the amount of people on social media during the game going, oh, Kyler wouldn't have had that happen. Kyler would have been killed in that game. Difference is, though, I will give you this. Kyler would have been able to escape a lot of those situations. Whereas Jacoby. But, I mean, Kyler would have been running for his life all game on top of it.
Yeah.
It's just the incredulous, that we don't have to do anything, When Dan Quinn, who is an egotistical man, folks, if you don't know Dan Quinn, very egotistical man, thinks his defense are the best things ever. When he's able to swallow his pride and go, I'm not happy with the way this is going. I'm taking over a defense coordinator position moving forward. When a guy with the Lions, who, by the way, are winning, and he goes, you know what? I'm going to take over the play calls for a little bit. I'm not happy what's happening out there. We need to do some things to change this up. And Jonathan
I've
Gannon,
always said this, whether it's after a game, whether it's during a game. If you're coming into the game, say we're going to run the football, we can run the football. We see some weaknesses, and guess what? You're in the early third quarter and you haven't run for the length of your leg. You have to try something new. Yeah. Now, hey, it might not work. You might be able to. You might say, "Hey, Andy Reid, come be our offensive coordinator."
That's my point.
And it might not work, but you've got to try something.
Change your way into work. Yeah. M&M's got to go in the front office there. Dottie's M&M's on your secretary's desk need to be changed to Mars bars or something. Like it's just. What did they try in that game? It was just constant. Go out there and do it again, guys. Go out there and do it again. And they started to have a little bit of success, right? That long 75-yard drive. But the point on that is, this is what Seattle does. They get big leads, and then they kind of go, do whatever you want.
Yeah. It's like, okay.
But then it gets more infuriating. Cardinals get the ball turned over to them twice and do nothing with it. You're getting gifts to get back into this game, and you do nothing with it on top of it. And Robert appreciates all the expertise that we bring here on the show, Dale. He says, walkie-talkie thingy, love the technical experience. Thank you. You only get that here at the main event here this morning. Robert also says, I think you guys were right. Seems like Gannon's wings were clipped a bit after the DiMarcado thing. By what way do you mean? I think the players, I think it got clipped with the players 100%.
Yeah, I think I said that yesterday.
Did
the
you?
fact that when
Okay.
the owner, what's one of the things that a lot of people say about Jonathan Gannon, not just you, very stoic, doesn't show any emotion.
No emotion at all.
And then the first time in 3 years, he shows a little emotion, gives DiMarcado a love tap. And
That wasn't a love tap.
And again, I still go back. He had two offensive linemen standing right there. Neither
agree.
one of them even looked at Gannon.
I questioned that too. I questioned that in the moment. I said, if he did something terrible,
Yes.
especially Will Hernandez,
Would
I
have at
would have
least looked
expected
at him or
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
something.
I
Or
questioned it. So when your owner comes out and finds you and says
Yes.
all this stuff, I think the message is sent to the players,
yes,
right?
yes.
I agree with you on that 100%. But I mean, this team was already in disarray going into it. You can't tell me. I mean, you had the great Dave Campo as a head coach as a Dallas Cowboy, and I'm sorry to do this to you, Mr. Campo, but I'm sure you're a super nice guy.
Super nice guy.
I'm sure you are. But you can't tell me that players, when he became head coach, because he was, Uncle Campo or whatever you guys call him.
Camps. He was
Yeah.
Camps.
You can't tell me that certain players went, I ain't going to listen to him. I'm going to do what I want.
But same thing with Barry Switzer when Dion circumvented the coach
and went
and
to the owner instead. And
All of a sudden, the head coach has his wings clipped, his authority taken away.
Yeah, so I didn't realize you had said that yesterday. If I repeat stuff you say, then run with it. But I do think with the players he got clipped. But I'll also say it a little bit farther. You cannot tell me. Now, sometimes as a boss, you got to let guys just do their job. And if it's going terrible, nothing you can do in the moment, we'll have to fix it. We're going to evaluate it and fix it, etc. But you can't tell me that Monty as a GM isn't going, oh, shoot. This has gone backwards. My job's on the line right now. I've got to show that we can get out of this type of stuff, right? And then the owner's going, oh, man, I hired the wrong guys again. What a shocker. What I do around here. I'm getting all these community awards about what a great guy I is. By the way, I'm getting all these awards after I am accused of manhandling women around the office and abusing women around the office. What a coincidence that is. But he's getting all these awards, and he's paying attention to that stuff. And so he's like, oh, look at me, community servant. But I keep hiring the wrong people out there.
Well, you started this off correctly by saying there's losses, and yes, the 4 or 5 in a row that were one-score games, a couple last play of the games. Those are not embarrassing. Those suck. They're emotional.
Yes.
One play here, one play.
Does not get you fired
No.
unless you do it all the time. Like
Right.
this is the third year of that happening.
Right.
Then you get fired. But not in this instance. You don't get fired for that.
But down 35-0 with 8 minutes left in the second quarter.
And not competitive.
Those are the kind of games that can get you fired.
It's not like they were driving down the field and a fumble happened or an interception happened and they ran it back. And okay, mistakes happened out there. They were doing nothing, offense or defense out there. Dealing with it. Those are the things that get you fired out there. We'll talk more about that. Bruce Cooper coming up as well. Of course, today's Tuesday. We didn't get to do what we normally do. You were out there at a nice high school game on a Friday night. Woo! Woo-wee! Chandler High School. Good to see you survived. Bullet wounds hanging, stabbing a knife.
They always treat me so nice. They let me in, get to park by the truck. It's first class over there at Chandler High School.
Did you go to Elmer's across the street?
I went nowhere.
Yeah, thank you for proving my point.
No, I love me some Chandler.
Elmer's didn't bring you food on
No,
top of it.
no.
Battle for Arizona Avenue. I mean, that was fantastic. I was following that. First of all, the SEA game, 2 hours long. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Every game should be that long, in my opinion. And it's just it went sideways quickly for Morency. We'll just say that SCA could do whatever they wanted out there against them offensively and defensively. Like at one point, you texted me, goes, "Keep me updated on the score," and I was like, "Why?" Like this is pure domination here for what's happening here at SCA. They came out with the fire I hadn't seen all year. I'll say that about SCA. We'll get into that in just a minute. Of course, Coach joins us on Wednesdays during the week for his coach's show.
Whenever he's not substituting.
I know, that's what I was just going to say. We'll find out later today if he has to work tomorrow. But, I mean, look, another star quarterback goes down with a serious knee injury in this game, and Hamilton doesn't miss a beat.
They didn't. It was again, really fascinating because it looked like Chandler was going to dominate.
What they up like 24
It
to
was
7?
like 30.
Something
It
like
was
that?
they were up by at least.
Yeah.
It's already Tuesday. I forgot.
I know. No, they were up. They were up by several scores.
Right.
When he went down. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the Hamilton quarterback goes down. This sophomore to sophomore connection that's been the most electrifying in the state.
Yep.
I didn't realize that sophomore quarterback had hurt one of his knees the previous year.
Yes.
So
Same injury, different leg.
yes, and that obviously it's terrible news for him. But the backup comes in, and they not only don't miss a beat, they like turn on the jet engine.
Yeah, exactly.
And boy, once they got momentum, you could just feel it. It was all on Chandler's side, and then boom, it went over to Hamilton's side, and back and forth. But yeah, tremendous football.
Yeah,
game.
so finally you get a good one out there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing. So obviously 6A and open playoffs start this week. We got the buys there. Chandler with the loss still got the bye in the open, I do believe, correct? So they're still there with that open bye.
Oh, it's another new playoff formula for the AIE.
It confuses me.
So you got buys in the first round. If you lose in that first round, you get to go back in the 6A tournament.
You drop down. You get a second chance at the playoffs.
I didn't realize all 5A teams had opted out of the open.
Yes.
Also,
that was part of the deal, quote unquote deal here. And see, if they had that same thing where a 5A team loses in the first round, you drop down to 5A, I could understand that. At least take a shot at it.
Right.
But as we've learned the last several years, 5A teams have zero chance in the open.
Yep.
So, it makes sense that they did that side. So that's underway this week. Green Creek made it in. And the star quarterback got hurt. Again, out for the rest of the season, I've been told.
Yeah.
Enjoy your baseball career over to Clemson.
You're talking about Tate Reynolds.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. I mean, hamstrings or glutes or whatever it is that it went him down with. I've heard a couple of different things. Tend to be problems, Dale.
We see it. Evidently, we see it at the high school level here locally. We see it at the professional level here locally on basketball.
It's just so depressing. It's so depressing to watch there. They have Sal Point this weekend. Queen Creek does. No bye for them here going into this weekend's games and all of that. So it'll be fun. We'll talk more of that, of course, as the week goes on. But the SCA game, I mean, this isn't a knock on Morency. They came ready to play. They have some fire to them, but you have to stop 13. You have to stop the run game, and SCA did it from the start.
Yeah.
And then their running game was so dominant to start the game that it opened up the passing game as it went along, and there's just nothing. There was one of those things where, kind of like the Cardinals. It's you blink and all of a sudden you're down and you're just like, what is happening right now?
Right.
Yeah. What do you do about it? The difference is I felt Morency was there to play. Like you could tell, even in that third and fourth quarter when they were down, they were trying to run that ball, run that offense.
Right.
And trying to compete still and trying to get back into it. And I didn't feel that way about the Cardinals. So got to give my hats off to Morency's head coaching staff and their coaching staff in general that their guys were still playing hard in that third quarter, trying to figure it out and trying to make some things happen out there. And it's just when you watch that on a Friday night and then you watch that debacle on a Sunday with professional coaches and you're like, oh, all right.
So you're telling me SA ran the ball more than 4 times?
All they did was pretty much run it. Yeah, every once in a while they throw it over the top just to surprise everyone. And it was a surprise. But yeah, I think we were headed out because I took the whole family too. Both kids went. Autumn went. So we all enjoyed
You
that.
stopped for dinner beforehand, or did you get dinner at the game?
Oh, we stopped beforehand. Went to Chipotle
You didn't buy cheeseburger, double cheeseburger, something
at
like
the
that?
game. No,
Yeah.
we stopped at Chipotle first. We went that Micro Center place opened up, which is like the old Fry's Electronics. Ethan wanted to go check that place out because it was the grand opening. So I was like, yeah, let's go. So we went there first. Went to Chipotle right there, 44th and Thomas. So right by our old stadium.
Oh, okay.
And then I was like, I'm not taking anybody back home. So you're all coming with me to the game. So we all went to the game and saw that. And the best part is both kids were, I'm like, yay, do you guys want to go Friday night to the game? And they go, no, it's a blowout. I don't want to go see that. It's boring. So Mike Sheehan and Scottsdale Christian Academy made my kids think your games are boring.
This one might be a little bit better.
Yeah, Santan this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be fun. Going to be fun. Big matchup here coming up for them. So we'll talk to Coach Sheehan coming up as well on that. Your Suns are dominant here. I mean, it's just like we called it.
Oh, boy, Jalen Green comes back for a game. Gets hurt.
Almost 5 quarters.
Yeah.
A minute short of 5 quarters.
My goodness.
I saw a stat after that where something like 33% of NBA players who have a hamstring issue re-injure the same injury when they come back, like almost immediately too, like a game or two, and then they re-hurt it again at that point.
And I know that they're taking their time. I know they're giving them extra time to try and make sure the thing is fully healed. But you just never know until you get out on the court or the field.
Yeah, because you can practice how you want, but the explosiveness in the game, and it was a knuckleless play too. He was just running. It wasn't like he was standing there and then had to run. He was driving to the middle of the lane. You just saw him pull up, and it looked bad too, didn't it? Ooh, looked bad also. Like yikes! But hey, they're playing well without him.
I don't think I could play the Pelicans every night.
Are you saying the competition isn't very good? Is that what you're trying to say right now?
When you're the Phoenix Suns, it does not matter who you're playing.
All I'm going to say, Dale, is we are 27 games away from cashing in on the.
I'm going to tell you this. I have at least some hope.
That the over is going to be covered?
I at least have some hope that we'll be going towards last 6 weeks of the season and have a chance at it.
I'll say this. I love what Jordan Knott's doing. I mean, I can be critical. We can be critical, of how much he's playing Malawach, and Rasheer Fleming. Like to see them in there more, especially here at the beginning and everything. But he speaking of coaches, he has this team playing hard. He has this team playing even when they're down. Has this team coming back and playing hard till the end of it. And I like what he's doing. I like his rotations. I like the offense he's putting in. I like the defense he's putting in. Team is fun to watch.
Well, and you can tell they actually like each other. You can tell that they enjoy playing basketball together.
Did you see the video? Dwayne Rankin, I think, put it out there. Did you see the video of holy cow, Jalen Green last night? So timeout, and he gets up and he's clapping for the team. Ott's doing his little huddle, and he's in there paying attention to it. He's not, staring out at the crowd or whatever. He's in there talking about it. And then Ott gets done talking, and Jalen Green's sitting there talking to Gillespie and, obviously talking basketball. They're not going, hey, where are we going for dinner after this? Right. They're actually talking basketball. He's in street clothes, injured, out for 2 months at least here coming up, right? And he's engaged in the timeouts last night.
Yeah.
Like that.
You mean he's not like LeBron sitting at the end of the bench and
he's talking to his buddies and texting his agent, it was a fun little video that Dwayne Rankin put out there because that's an epitome of what this team is doing right now.
Right.
For the Suns as well. And I mean, even in a blowout win last night, that was a fun game to watch.
Yes. And it's so refreshing to me That's what I said coming in to the season was that's what my hope was. Don't know how much better they would be, but I want it to be fun to go watch a game or turn the TV
Yeah.
on and watch this
Even
team
if
play.
even if they lose, just make it fun
Yeah.
that we can watch you play and get out there. I mean, look, Grayson Allen, 42 points last night. After the game, I goes, I want him to shoot threes more. Yeah.
Career high. He's kind of went back. I think now his
He's not as
body's
buff.
settled into the all over tan and the and the Phoenix Summers and
He's not as buff this year, I've noticed.
no, I think he probably let go a little bit on the weights, realizing that hey, I'm not in the strongman competition.
I mean, you got a guy like Mark Williams that I don't know if I noticed it last night, but in that second game against the Clippers, he's literally running the court, which is making the opponent's guys guarding him running the court also.
Right.
And you just see them just dwindle down in terms of energy and stuff as the game goes on because Mark Williams is running the court. Now, he does have an injury-prone problem, just waiting for that to happen. But it's fun to watch these guys, and they're doing it to where these other teams, like nobody on the Clippers, Zubac, or anybody wanted to keep running up and down the court. Man, it's November, Dale. We don't need to do that.
Well,
And the Suns are doing it.
Yeah, it is. It's fascinating. You talked about the injury proneness of Mark Williams. Maybe this is the opposite year. Did Jalen Green and
Everybody else is going to be healthy.
and Dylan Brooks, and they play 82 games every year. 82 games, except for when they come to Phoenix.
Yeah.
And now you got Mark Williams, he's been injury prone, but now he's playing every game.
Look, who hasn't pulled their groin from time to time? It just happens, Dale. But Brooks, since he's been back, man, I love watching him. I've always liked him. I like Dylan Brooks. To me, is that annoying guy, but he's not Draymond annoying. I don't know how to say it. I watch Draymond and I want to just kick him in the face because he's annoying. Like he's flipping the crowd. Dylan Brooks just talks his stuff and backs it up. Beautiful.
It's
Love
also
it.
Draymond's won a few championships.
Because of Draymond or because of who he was playing
Well, I don't know if they would have won them without Draymond.
Well, the one with KD, they would have won regardless, or they wouldn't have won that one without KD, and he got injured in that series. Yeah, KD got him to that point, but the first couple, yeah, no, he was a pivotal part of it, no doubt about it. Bruce Cooper's here, folks. Let's take our break here. Come on back and. Lots of local stuff to talk about. Sun Devils. Rain again this weekend. 11 a.m. kickoff against West Virginia, Dale.
How about my Wildcats?
Brett Brennan, man. He's not it. But that easy schedule is giving them wins.
Please.
Wins.
I'll take their quarterback over a lot of quarterbacks.
Over Jeff Sims?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, no. Yeah.
Come on back, folks. The main event. Bruce Cooper up next. And we're back here, main event on this Veterans Day. Bruce Cooper joins us as he does every Tuesday here. Bruce, first of all, other than it being Veterans Day, there's a parade downtown later on today, so don't go north from here.
Okay.
When you leave here, because the parade, I don't know what time it starts. I imagine 11 or so there. But Bruce made it in today, Dale.
Yes, he did.
I made it in, and I was just shocked. I was commenting, man. I mean, the freeways are. I'm driving unabated here. I'm like, what's going on? And of course, Steve reminds me that it's Veterans Day.
The whole time you're telling that story, I'm just sitting there going, does he not know it's Veterans Day?
Yeah, and honestly, he didn't.
Wow. Okay.
That was my thing. I left late today, and I got in here like even earlier. I was like, same thing. I was like, what the heck? Type of a thing. So, so Veterans Day, glad you made it today. Of course, want to thank all of the veterans out there and
Absolutely.
troops and everything. We wouldn't be here doing this if it wasn't for them.
Absolutely.
And everything. So, absolutely on our minds as we go through here as well. And the big question I got for Bruce, because, he worked at Channel 12 for 37 years, 40 years, something in that time frame. When you left, did you have to fire them over your $54 million buyout dispute? Or did they just gladly paying you that every month?
And they gave me a gift certificate to McDonald's and said, "Don't let the door hit you on the way out."
It hasn't been the same since you left, Coop. I will say that. But
I don't think I've watched them since. I think I've watched them a couple times since you've left.
Yeah.
but obviously LSU trying to say they fired your boy
cause.
with
Cause? Are you
cause.
kidding me? Come on.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know what's happening behind the scenes. He might have been doing some dash. He doesn't. He's the type of guy that he might have been doing some unscrupulous things behind the scenes.
Yeah, you don't think that would have came out before now?
Oh yeah, totally would have.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, when you are, sliding, and they put up with, not competing. I guess if you will, are winning the SEC when you have a Heisman Trophy candidate and your team is very exciting to watch. Every game is going down to the last minute, and now you're not even competing, and you're getting your pants blown off. So yeah, no question they fired him for performance. Let's not even get there. Now, if they have since found a rumor here, or someone told them this, or they kept this in the back pocket, and they want to try to make it an issue now, I guess that's what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is that they didn't say anything. Then yesterday they sent him a letter saying, "Oh, yeah. By the way, we fired him for cause." How many weeks has it been since he's been fired?
Yeah.
But I mean, just the fact that they're shocked that they went to Brian Kelly and they were offering him $25 million payout. They owe him $54 million, and then they raised it to 36, and he's like, "No." The fact that they're shocked he said no is amazing.
Yeah. Look, when Texas A&M blew out Jimbo Fisher, and I think they owed him like north of $75 million.
I think it was 78 or something. Like that, if I remember right.
And so you're not going to find any coaches that are willing to give up any money. And I'm not. It's non-negotiable.
And there's offsetting language in his contract, I believe. So if he goes, that's what I don't get. Like, hurry up and get him hired somewhere. Like, if anything, give him great glowing reviews. So he moves on. The other thing is that I wonder about for LSU's perspective is, does this affect their next head coach?
Well, it didn't at Texas A&M. I mean, in Texas, they have some really deep boosters and things like that. So I think when you look at LSU and you look at some of the coaches who've passed through there, like Nick Saban, I mean, they have a standard. Mm-hmm. And I think that they'll pay what's necessary to get to that standard.
I just don't know, because I know Al Davis for a while there. None of the high end head coaches in the NFL could play coach for him. One, because he's difficult, but then two, and I was reading some stories years ago about the whole Lane Kiffin situation, and some of the high end coaches were like, "I'm not going through that. I'm not going to go through that if something happens and we don't do our job right and we get blown out."
I will tell you this, as a guy who spent a year there,
at the Raiders.
I don't know about you guys, but all I ever heard was, there were no rules. All it was just win, baby. Make sure you're there to play on Sundays. Didn't care what else happened, partying, this, that. And then you get there, and that was the most paranoid organization of the three that I actually played for, where players were sure that there were secret cameras in the locker room to listen and observe what the conversations were. Al Davis would treat the equipment guy like his personal servant. Literally, you'd see
Yeah, I've heard
Al
that.
Davis throw a towel at him and say, "Hey, buff my shoes."
Yeah, I've heard of that.
It was just this most dysfunctional franchise inside, but on the outside, boy, it seemed like everybody's having. You think of the left-handed quarterback,
Kenny Stabler.
Kenny Stabler and Matuzak and
Well,
Howie Long,
John
and,
Madden.
and all those guys just partying all the time, but they won, so that's all that was important. But then you get inside. Ooh.
I remember, I think it was Warren Sapp when he was there, said, I saw he was either mic'd up or I saw something where he was literally on the field sitting on the bench and a phone ring. And like you just hear him say, and I remember it being Warren Sapp, but I remember him going, Al's upset about something. He's calling down to tell him what to do right now.
Yeah.
Something to that
He
effect.
would. He would
And
call
they
on
were just
phone.
sitting on the bench. You hear the phone ring, and I remember if it was mic'd up or what the situation was, and it was just like the players even knew when that phone rang what was going to happen, or something like we're going deep on this player or something,
Yeah,
and it's just
yeah.
like, what? So I think these types of decisions can affect who you hire, who's going to come to your school.
Well, no doubt, and of course, the thing I remember from Al Davis the most was the standard that he set. I mean, it became a one of those famous sayings, "Just win, baby."
Mhm.
And so regardless of what else may be happening off the field or around the organization, just win.
Right.
And so that goes to what you were saying. And
Yeah.
and as far as it relates to LSU's next head coach, look, I've even heard rumors of Lane Kiffin.
Well, he just re-signed at Ole Miss.
Okay, well, I missed that. Yeah.
It happened, unless I dreamed it, which is possible. I think it happened over the weekend.
Okay.
On Sunday, yeah.
No, what's interesting is nowadays, so when Franklin's fired from Penn State, all of a sudden the Nebraska head coach gets an extension. So some of these firings are
Yes.
getting guys paid.
Yeah, look at Indiana's coach,
Yes.
Spaghetti. Yeah.
Hey, how about? Did you watch that game on Saturday?
I don't.
You see the highlight?
You know what? I was more taken aback by. I get off on Gus Johnson. Gus
Do
just
you
cracks
like him?
me up. I
my
love
God, I
Gus.
can't stand
Is that right,
him.
dude? I like the excitement he brings to the booth, and it just translates into my living room or into my man cave.
What's a play-by-play's guy number one role, Bruce? What's his number one role?
Yeah,
His number one role is to talk and put you in the moment, and then shut up and let the moment play out. And when he's screaming to the point where he can't breathe at that play, it took you out of the moment.
No, it didn't take it had me
Wish I had that
firing.
video.
It had me firing off excerpts of that call to people. I said, Gus, it's like when I watched the NC2A March Madness.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
that's where I first became a Gus Johnson fan.
Yeah.
I mean, dude.
See, but it works in basketball. I don't think it works in football.
I don't know.
I thought it worked Saturday. I mean, I got off on. Yeah, absolutely. And so with that, it gets me excited. Look, it might be one of those deals where there is no gray area. You either do or you don't.
I think he's one of those that
He is.
he's a polarizing figure. I mean, even Troy Aikman. There are people who hate Troy Aikman. I think Troy's fine. I don't know how you could hate him.
Oh, he does a good job.
I can see how you don't love him. But I was watching that moment. I was flipping through and seeing Indiana coming back, and I literally had to run it back because I'm like, "What is that noise?" He's like making some noise I never heard. I go, "Is that
know.
the announcer? Or is that the crowd?"
my point.
I do love when an announcer gets excited and is into the game. But in regards to that, how about that catch, Coop? Was that like Coop back at Westwood High?
Look. Look, when I saw it initially, I said it's out of bounds.
Yeah.
I thought the referee blew the call.
Right.
Because as you know, you only need 1 foot in bounds.
Yeah.
And he got the left foot inbounds before the right
Before
foot
it hit
landed.
out.
I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
That
moment.
official, I got to give it, I
He-
like
yes.
to bash officials.
And I'll tell you what, Dale, I saw him too. He went and you can see in the replay, he's right down on it.
Yeah.
And he was on the money.
Yes.
And it was an exciting play, and here it is. I remember Arizona State, and I'm going back to 1996 when they finished undefeated and went to the Rose Bowl with a chance to be national champions against
Right.
Ohio State. They had a game against UCLA when I remember during the regular season. It was such a great comeback.
Multiple
Jake's-
overtimes, wasn't it?
Yeah. Jake finds his way into the end zone, and it's just moments like those. And then there was an overtime game against USC at
USC
home.
too.
Yeah.
But I think the UCLA one was like a 3 or 4.
Yeah,
overtime
yeah.
game,
I'm just telling you, I just see that Indiana has that magic. There's sometimes when there's a certain season that takes place, and it's just no matter what, that magic is just there. I see it with Indiana. I mean, look, that was by far their worst game of the year. That's what they're saying. Because
Right.
I haven't watched every Indiana game.
No.
By far their worst game of the year, and they pulled out the late game magic with some now all of a sudden. I'm looking forward to the next Indiana game.
Oh yeah. There's no doubt about it. And here's the thing, Coop, because for about 12 years, I did games in all different venues and did games in Manhattan, Kansas. I did games in Bloomington, Indiana. I've done games at Rutgers. And I always wondered, Bloomington, Indiana. I always wondered when Kansas State was rolling there for about 10 years under Snyder.
Manhattan.
How do you get players to come here? Indiana's always been a basketball school.
Yeah.
That's what it's always been.
Yeah.
And football's like, okay, it's a filler until we get to basketball time. And this Signetti guy, my goodness.
The job being done in Lubbock and in Bloomington by the respective head coaches there,
Right.
I'm amazed. And I know you hear in Lubbock that they really shut out a lot of money for
Yeah,
the,
they- right.
They have a
NIL.
defensive lineman making $3 million this
Yeah.
year. So that oil money being pumped into
Yeah.
it.
Right, but I don't see that being the case at Indiana,
No.
especially when you're in the same conference with teams like Ohio State and Michigan, and now you added some of those Pac-12 teams like Oregon and
I was trying to think, when was the last time you saw a college kid make a toe tapper catch anywhere on the field in that environment? It doesn't happen very often in college in
No.
terms of that spectacular of a catch. So for him to have the wherewithal, that's one that tells you they practice it all the time.
and I
It's
believe
just amazing to me.
I believe that was a fourth down play.
It was the end of the game if they didn't catch it. Yeah,
And the defender pushed him,
yeah.
which is what you
Which
do.
is a good play.
Pushed him, and he still got the
It's just the wherewithal of that kid in that moment to make that play is just that's what amazes. Any NFL team, I'm drafting that kid because he's mentally there, regardless of his other skill sets. He is mentally there.
Yeah,
and ready to
Is
go.
there any way you can take his mentality and just morph it with number 18 for the Cardinals and
Oh,
see
man.
if maybe you got the all-world wide receiver?
Hey, let me tell you something. Now that you brought up Marvin Harrison,
He had a couple more drops this week to hit him in the hands. Bruce.
hey, look, so I found myself saying, well, how did he regress? So I went back and I'm watching some of the Dallas Cowboys game. Bland is playing about 7 to 10 yards off, so he's able to get off the line unabated.
Oh.
Seattle, they press him, they get in his grill. And so he can't create separation. That's becoming crystal clear.
You can knock him off his routes too.
Yeah. And so the more you play physical with him, it's almost like that trash talk. I'm sure there's trash talk going on. They get inside his head.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw the numbers: 12 targets, 3 receptions.
Yeah.
There were a number of
And he
jump
dropped a
ball
bunch.
opportunities. Yes, he's not coming down with any of them. So it takes me back to, again, one of my criticisms of the Cardinals is when they acquired a guy like DeAndre Hopkins. Hopkins was, he was Kyler's go-to guy. I think about the jump ball in Buffalo on the the Hail Mary, but the
Buffalo, that was the
Buffalo
COVID year. I was
Mary.
at that game.
Whatever. Yeah. But DeAndre Hopkins had over 1,400 receiving yards and 12 touchdowns. It matters when you're talking about these possession downs. There's times when Jacoby had to come off the field because he threw a third down pass that you thought maybe Harrison would catch. He didn't. Now you're punting.
But those balls were hitting him in the hand.
Yes.
And they're getting knocked out, or that goes back to what I was saying last year about him. he never wins a contested ball.
No,
With this
no.
year, he's started
And-
to a little bit, but he's gone back to in this Seattle game. And I do believe it's the physicality that gets to him. I do. You see him get knocked off of routes constantly.
Here's
stuff.
the thing. As I look at it, and I go, well, when you watch Marvin Harrison, number one, I thought with the added muscle and stuff that the reason you do that as a receiver is so you can swipe a cornerback away from you.
Yeah.
And again, I go up and press you. If you go, I'd go back and watch the tape of Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin, boom, swipe, and now all of a sudden you're open like that.
Then the cornerback's playing catch up, right?
Right.
So a little bit slower.
But it happens. And then here's the other thing, Coop, and this is almost as concerning to me as the drops. You do a little hook route, and the ball hits you in the hands, you drop it. I can't stand the way he acts, body language wise, after these plays.
Are you saying he's lackadaisical
It
after
looks
he
like
drops
he
it?
It looks like he doesn't care.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
But
I'm
it
not too
looks
sure.
like he doesn't care.
Yeah, and so it goes back to this, is that Kyler Murray's number one target last year was Trey McBride. Why? Because I think McBride had 111 catches,
Yeah,
121 catches, something like that. You know,
But no
And-
touchdowns till the end of the year.
Well, it really. Okay, that doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me because
Right,
he's
just- it was a red zone
he's
offense.
getting you down there. He's sustaining drives, which your number one receiver should be doing.
yes.
And so I just don't feel that until the Cardinals, and look, I give Monty Ossenfort credit for this. He thought he was bringing in that number one guy, that DeAndre Hopkins for him. But clearly that's not. And let me tell you how I bought into Harrison's offseason workouts and him adding all that pounds of muscle. I made him a high draft pick in my fantasy football league. I bought the Kool-Aid.
Right.
And so,
Yeah, you did.
but clearly, he is not playing up to the fourth overall pick in the NFL draft, and that's really.
I got one question for both of you, and you guys each take a turn to answer this. I heard and saw a little bit in preseason that they were going to start moving him.
yes.
Okay, so if
They started
when
moving
we
him.
can sit here and wonder why can't he get out of Prescott? Why can't he? Well, guess what? He can't right now. So let's move him. You send him in motion that you can't be pressed. You go in short motion.
Well, Dale, see that's my point. After last year, I said they have to go in and find a veteran or a speedy guy, somebody that is not going to allow any bracket coverages on him, somebody that can divert more attention to him, and that would give Harrison more freedom, like we saw in the Dallas game. And
No,
they didn't do it.
No, that's been my biggest issue with this offense is they don't move anybody around. When they put guys in motion, it's that play we talked about earlier. It's a tight end and a guard moving, at the same time and calling a play back. It's just I don't get why you're not putting your receivers into motion
It's
to
the
give them
same
space.
thing that we were
I don't
talking
get it.
about, Steve, when the show started. The fact that we thought as a staff, the added weight, the muscle, the strength, that he will be better against press coverage. Now we're 4 or 5 games into the season. It's not any better.
Yeah,
so
well-
let's change something, see if that works.
Well, that again brings me back to the Cardinals organization or the coaching staff.
Right.
Because see, Dale, as you guys know, they run a lot of 12 and 13 personnel.
Uh-huh.
And if you're doing that, you're relying on a guy like Harrison to be the guy that gets open downfield. You don't have a lot of people that are bringing people out of the box. I mean, if you're going up with people that can really, if they play the too high shell or the one high safe. I mean, look, you play him one-on-one and that high safety. If Harrison get behind him, he moves over. But you're playing too much of a run type personnel, and it's not wide open. And so I just think it's a great misfit Kyler. His best years were certainly under Cliff Kingsbury. Why? Because they had more of a spread offense,
Yeah.
and so
and they moved their receivers
right,
around.
absolutely. And so now you can get more movement, and that's when the Cardinals were 7-0, 10-2. I mean, granted, when they started to go down, when Hopkins went down, but that should get something going upstairs.
Yeah.
You know, I can take you to other quarterbacks when you took their top receiver away, they weren't the same. All of a sudden, Aaron Rodgers goes down the hill when Devontae Adams leaves him.
Right.
There's only one couple quarterbacks I can think of that it doesn't matter who their receiver is. It seems like they're okay, and that would be like two of the greats, like Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady, who's no longer playing. But other than that, you need that guy.
Yeah.
And I look at Matthew Stafford. You know, I don't know how many years he played in Detroit. They can't even win. They can't even get to the playoffs. Can't win the division. Can't get to the playoffs. He comes to L.A. You give him some guy like Cooper Kupp, and he had Robert Woods. Dude, they're off to the Super Bowl.
Right.
And then when it matters when you if you give now he has Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, and now all of a sudden the Rams have a resurgence.
Oh, and Devontae Adams is so wide open down the field.
All
It's
he does is
ridiculous.
catch touchdowns.
It's just, you see that one where he just blew the door. It was one-on-one coverage, and that defender had zero chance. He was just wide open in that.
Yeah.
He could have stopped, had a lunch, and then caught the football.
Yeah.
You know what?
And-
the
What's
way you
fascinating,
write, but-
I know we're going to go to break here, but we didn't get a chance because it didn't happen when Coop was here last week. Talk a little bit about Kyler Murray and because you got put on IR after you left last
Yes.
week, and your thoughts on that because I think it's fascinating.
Well,
You're not going to say it now because
Okay.
we're going
Yeah,
to go to break.
let's do the break first, then we'll come back to this. So we'll figure out what your theory is.
Okay.
Because I'm documenting. I'm starting to hear other people come around to my theory that he's not even hurt. That he's not hurt. I heard some prominent people around the Cardinals starting to float that a little bit yesterday as well. So we'll talk with that with Bruce coming up, and then of course I got a big JG and coaching staff issue with this Cardinals. We'll see if Bruce agrees with me or doesn't with this coming up as well. Of course, Suns talk, college football, ASU this weekend, and I got a Brett Brennan question for you there, Coop.
How about that Wildcats?
Uh-oh, he says. Come on back, folks. The main event with Bruce Cooper. And we're back here, second hour main event. I'm, of course, your humble host, Stephen McCollum, 17-year NFL veteran, Dale Hellestrae, and the man, the myth, the legend, Bruce Cooper's here as well with us every Tuesday as well. So going into that, we're talking obviously some Cardinals here and that disaster of a game on Sunday in there. But, it did happen last week after you were gone with Kyler Murray in that situation. Your thoughts on what's happening there?
Well, if it were truly an injury situation, that would have been addressed prior to naming.
He was practicing on the Tuesday before that Monday night game.
He's been practicing every week, but he's been limited. All right, and so it doesn't just come out of nowhere that he needs to go on IR.
Yeah,
That should have long been determined. But I I think that once Brissett was named the starter, that that brought some conversations or phone calls to the Cardinals front office from Kyler's people.
Right.
And so just to make it look better for him, I think it's a perception deal.
Well, absolutely.
They place him on IR, and so it's also a two-way effect. It now takes the Cardinals off the hook from answering every week.
Yes.
Who's going to be the starter? That's number one. But Kyler, from a perception standpoint, I mean, I'm sure it was a big blow to his ego, and so
Tell me this: do you think they tried to trade him, and when they couldn't trade him, they decided to put him on IR because it coincided with trade deadline?
I don't believe that they tried to trade him at the trade deadline because when you're dealing with that kind of money, there's just teams already have their cap situation already situated.
I think there was 3 teams that could fit him underneath their cap if they traded for him. Is what I think I saw.
And so then you're limiting. So if you're going to trade Kyler, and then and at midseason, that shows desperation for one. And now that means you're not going to get the same type of value back in return. So I don't think that was a consideration at this point. I think they would look for the off season to where they can better sit down, negotiate the best trade for them to get back in return.
Nobody's trading for him. They're going to have to cut him.
Well,
nobody's trading for him.
That could be true too. But I do believe that a trade will take place.
Really?
Yeah, because if teams are going to say, okay, I'll just wait for them to cut him, and I went through, and there are a number of teams that would take Kyler Murray. Yeah. And so if you're the New York Jets for one, I want Kyler. But what if Kyler decides, hey, I'd rather play for the Vegas Raiders?
Yeah, you're awful there in New York.
Or I'd rather play for the New Orleans Saints. And so if you're the New York Jets, now you missed that opportunity.
No, I get it.
And so that's why I believe a trade will take place, because there are a lot of teams that are desperate for a quarterback. And let me tell you something.
If you're the Jets and you're going to bring in a guy making, $40 million a year off of top of Justin Fields that you just brought in, Aaron Rodgers beforehand, you're going to bring in another question mark in a trade?
Hey, let me tell you something.
Ooh, fan base. I feel sorry for that fan base.
Absolutely. And so here's the deal. Just look at it. They spent a number 2 overall pick on Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
A number, I believe Sam Darnold was a 3 overall pick, or he could have been the 2.
He was up there.
Yeah. And so you brought in Brett Favre.
They had Geno Smith even.
You brought in Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. I mean, they have tried a lot of things. But here, they have a guy in Kyler. And see, I actually think Kyler is in the upper half of the quarterbacks in the league. And when I say that, I mean, there's a cutoff point, there's a midpoint, 16 teams, because there's 32 teams. Mm-hmm. I think he's in the upper half of that.
How far in the upper half?
I would say anywhere about around 10 or, or something like that.
So I think he's right at that level. He's 13, 14, or 15.
I would be fine 15, 16, 17.
Yeah,
but not 10.
Yeah. Whatever.
Right,
I mean,
I don't disagree. It's just he's got a lot of question marks around him. And a team that's going to trade for him is going to have to deal with their fan base and a lot of skepticism.
Well, here's the deal. I look at Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, first overall pick in Cleveland. I mean, he was unceremoniously booed out. I mean, he was like the Kyler Murray in Cleveland. All right, so he goes from Cleveland to Carolina. He can't win the starting job there.
Yep.
From Carolina,
with Sam Darnold, no less.
Yeah. From Carolina, he's in L.A. with the Rams, and you knew he wasn't going to be a starter there. He was backup. But you sent him to Tampa, and look at what he had around him in Tampa. He had some guys named Mike Evans, some guy named Chris Godwin. He had running backs, Bucky Irvin and Rashad. All of a sudden, you gave him weapons that he didn't have in Cleveland.
Don't forget. Pretty good offensive line, too.
Absolutely. Make no mistake about it. So then all of a sudden, he's a different quarterback. Yeah. You now have him in the conversation. But I go back to when you gave Kyler Murray, you gave him DeAndre Hopkins, you gave him Christian Kirk, and he had A.J. Green. All of a sudden, they are a different team. Yeah. And so so if I'm the New York Jets, or if I'm any team that's
Jets
bringing him
offensive
in,
line has got awful.
it may be, but if you gave him weapons, I think he'd be just fine.
I always try, so I try and put myself in other people's shoes. So I'm thinking, okay, so if I'm the Jets, and I've watched Sam Darnold play for me, and I hear snippets like I'm seeing ghosts out there.
Yeah.
And this guy can't play.
Right.
And then I see him go to Minnesota.
Absolutely.
And win 14 games.
Absolutely.
Different coaching staff, different organization, different talented, obviously talented wide receivers.
Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison.
But let's not forget lesser expectations. Same thing with Baker when he got to Tampa Bay.
But
no expectations on him whatsoever.
No. But look, what Dell is. One of the things he's saying when he went to Minnesota, Justin Jefferson is regarded as arguably the best receiver in football.
Yes.
He has a guy, a running mate named Jordan Addison. And then you look at what Minnesota had in terms of running backs as well.
I got
He had talent that he had.
Yeah.
Now he's in Seattle. I mean, Jackson Smith and Jigba is looking like he's looking like the best receiver to come out of Ohio State.
If only we drafted him.
Yeah. And so he has Cooper Kupp on the side of him. They just went out and they brought in Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah.
And you look in the backfield, Walker and Charbonnet. He has
that rookie
weapons.
kid that came out of nowhere and had big running
I don't
plays.
know who the heck he is.
Exactly.
But they have weapons, and I'm just telling you, if you give these guys some weapons, and like I said, I go back to Monty Ossenfort. I thought he had given Kyler a weapon, but it's clear it doesn't matter who the quarterback is now, because Jacoby Brissett just showed you could target this man 12 times and he'll drop all these contested balls just like he did for Kyler Murray.
But that says more about the program. The Cardinals
It does.
are in the same
It does.
category as the Jets.
It does.
No matter
Absolutely.
who you bring in, they don't give you the assets to perform.
Absolutely, it does.
Year after year.
It matters. I mean,
year.
you were talking about the same organizations: the Cleveland Browns,
Yes.
the
Jets.
New York Jets,
Carolina.
I mean,
Yeah,
it just doesn't matter. And so, if the Cardinals want to turn that corner, they are going to have to, invest money in playmakers. Troy Aikman. What do they call Michael Irvin?
Yeah, that's the playmaker.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They call him the playmaker. And then who do you have in backfield?
Yeah.
Another
Smith.
Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it matters. And I'm not Troy Aikman. I'm not trying to say Troy Aikman is a slop, but I mean, because I'm not. He's a Hall of Famer himself. But he benefited just like Irvin and Emmett. They benefit from each other. They make each other better. That's what happens.
And one of the best offensive lines, maybe in the history of the NFL, but that period for sure.
Absolutely.
I'm a firm believer in quarterbacks. Bad quarterbacks can look good on really good teams. We saw that with Baltimore, with Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl. What was that? Brad Johnson was their quarterback,
Trent
right?
Dilfer also won one.
Trent Dilfer won one. Then, old man Flacco won one, and, with that defense there in Baltimore. Bad quarterbacks can look good if you give them the weapons in the right situations. The Cardinals aren't going to do that. So what the Cardinals need to do is they need to get a Carson Palmer, a Kurt Warner in that type of a situation. The guys that can play above that level and improve on the team, and they just never do it.
Well,
That's
we looked at it. Dave Nash filled in for Steve yesterday, and where did the Cardinals have in 25 years? I'm not going back to 1980s and 70s, Jim Hart and Neil Lomaxes and all that. But in the last 25 years, who has given them the best chance for success?
Two retreads.
Two retreads of Kurt Warner, who came here and he wasn't supposed to start. He had a bad thumb.
Yeah, but I'm going to start with Kurt Warner. Let's look at his playmakers. Some guy named Larry Fitzgerald. Yeah. Some guy named Anquan Bolden. Yeah. Some guy named Steve Breston.
Yep.
And all those guys had over 1,000 yards receiving.
Right.
And look, it took a guy like Kurt Warner to get into it. But look, Kurt was in New York, and he couldn't get it done there. And some guy named Eli Manning is drafted and makes Warner available.
I remember
I'm not-
how
I'm-
terrible Warner looked in New York. It was bad.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
looked washed up.
I'm just saying that. I'm just saying, and Kurt is a phenomenal talent in terms of. I mean, this guy, the way he can process and see things. Look, it's no coincidence that he tutored Tyler Shuck at Desert Mountain, and Tyler Shuck now had a pretty good game in
Right.
New Orleans. I mean, he had a good tutor.
So you had
And-
Kurt Warner, though, and then
Carson Palmer. Well,
The two guys who admit it, Bruce, especially Kurt. I don't think anybody was super excited when they signed him. It's
because
like,
Cardinals had drafted Matt Leinart.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, he's
guy.
going to be a backup and whatever.
Yeah.
And then Carson Palmer. And both, one got to the Super Bowl, another one got to an NFC Championship game and won quite a few games. But those are two guys that they found kind of on the
Yeah, and both
old
of
heap.
them are thrown to a guy who will catch those 50-50 balls.
Yes,
Some guy named Larry Fitzgerald.
yeah.
I mean, somebody can move the chains for you. And like I said, Larry's had a lot of bad quarterbacks. You know, he's had a lot
So
of
he
bad
got
quarterbacks.
used to catching bad passes.
And so all I'm saying is that I just don't think that the Cardinals have done a very good job of putting talent around this team. I mean, for a very short period of time, we saw what Kyler Murray could do. Because I tell you what, I'm not necessarily a Kyler Murray apologist or anything like that, but I do like mobile quarterbacks. I like the Patrick Mahomes, the Josh Allens, the Lamar Jacksons, the Kyler Murray. I like guys that can make plays outside of the box, you know, when things break down. So I'm that kind of, and I watched so many quarterbacks come through Arizona that weren't that dude, didn't have that going for them. So I kind of get excited about a quarterback that can help you. But you know, to help him, I gotta do my job in putting people around him that can make his job easier.
Tell me this: do you think if they went out and got an upper echelon receiver through the draft or free agency, that would help Harrison?
Absolutely. I really do. Look, let me tell you something. Tua Tagovailoa, he was being trashed.
Well, you said that so good, Coop. I did an Alabama game. I tried that one time. My whole staff said, you got to try it one time.
Yeah,
Tua from that time.
Yeah. He was being trashed because they said, "Oh, we had a chance to get Justin Herbert, and we got." I mean, Tua. He was just bad. All of a sudden, they acquired some dude named Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
They drafted some guy named Jalen Waddle. And all of a sudden, Miami becomes this team that's just so dangerous. I mean, they draft a guy, Devon Achane, running back. They had so much speed and whatnot. And when anytime Tua got concussed and he was out, they weren't the same. But all of a sudden, the narrative around Tua changed because you put weapons that he could just. I mean, he could throw a simple slip screen. And they could do the rest. And I'm saying that's all you have to do. Yeah. I really believe that's all you have to do in Arizona. But
They don't run those plays.
No, they don't. But if you got that type of talent, you got that type of coach who would make those things happen. You're in pretty good shape. Now, I will say this. You know, I watched the game Sunday in Seattle, and everybody is praising Jacoby Brissett. They're saying his 3-game narrative is. What he'll do that Kyler won't do, he'll stand tall in the pocket, he'll hold it, until a receiver gets to the top of his route, he'll take the punishment, and he'll let it go. Well, I give Mike McDonald and the Seattle Seahawks coaching staff a lot of credit. They said, that's very true. He said, guess what? We're not going to give him that time. We're going to blitz him. And Jacoby's that guy that tries to hold on to the ball. So he's holding on too long, and they're getting to him quicker, and he's fumbled twice.
I don't know if you can say he held on the ball too long when he literally was getting attacked the second they capped the ball.
That's my whole point is that there's a reason why a guy can be in the league for 10 years, be a starter for 3 different teams, and then it's been decided that his best position is that as a backup.
Yeah, but at the same, I put this out on Twitter in the middle of this game. Where are the quick release throws for Jacoby Brissett?
Hey.
The coaching staff is the problem here, Bruce.
and you're getting to my point. See, Jacoby was never a guy that had that quick release. But
Yeah.
I want you to know this: in the third quarter, we finally saw an adjustment relative to that blitz. So it's up to Jacoby to recognize the hot reads and stuff.
Yeah.
But when he threw that touchdown pass to Trey McBride, they brought the blitz. He got it out quickly. But granted, the ball was tipped, but it still went to McBride for a touchdown. And so I'm like, dude, that's what you should have been doing earlier in the game when these things are coming. And I'm going to tell you, that's why I like mobile quarterbacks, because see, Seattle, they don't throw these cover zero blitzes at Kyler Murray.
Well, no, because he'll get outside. And he'll find
Absolutely.
him
So that
yeah.
gets me to my point. That's why I love the mobile quarterbacks.
Right.
And so, look, I love Jacoby Brissett for the things that he's done. I mean, there's no question. You can't take this away from him. The Cardinals' offense looked better under him than they did with Kyler Murray.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get that's the eye test. It tells you that. No question about it. But here it is right now. Brissett is what, 1-3 now? And I'm not going to blame him. It's the Cardinals organization that has to put the right people in this whole team. I mean, look, we can sit here and talk about, all these close losses the Cardinals had. It's the first time in NFL history any team has had 3 successive walk-off losses. You can say all those things.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's still an L.
Yep.
And I can sit here and at home and I can watch a game in I believe it was London. Or it could have been Germany. I don't know where. But the Indianapolis Colts had no
Berlin.
business. Okay, it was Berlin. They had no business winning that game. I could tell you that the Denver Broncos, down 19 going into the fourth quarter after being shut out the first three quarters, had no business winning their game. There are certain teams that just know how to win. They make winning plays. Cardinals don't have anybody that makes winning plays. I don't care who the quarterback is.
Well, making winning plays, it's contagious. I want to make 2 points. One, I was on a 2-14 Buffalo team, and we were in probably of the 14 losses, we were probably in 11 of them middle of the fourth quarter. And instead of standing on the sideline going, who's going to make the play? Who's going to make the play to win the game? We're all thinking, who's going to screw it up? And it's a mentality.
It is a mentality,
and that can permeate entirely. And the other thing, I don't care who's your quarterback, this offensive line
Yeah.
has regressed
Yeah.
horribly. And I don't want to bring up my guy again.
Yeah.
Okay,
Got a shoulder injury though, Dale.
but my guy Adams, who's in Dallas, had this offensive line playing a lot better than this guy from Ohio State.
Yeah.
And the left guard Evan Brown, they need to find a replacement for him
Yeah,
now
yeah.
at right tackle.
Hey, yeah. Let me tell you
have to
something.
replace half that
let me
line,
just-
though.
They showed a play in which the Cardinals, it was like 4th and 1. They were going for it. They pulled the left guard, Evan Brown,
Uh-huh.
and Froholt, the center. And they both ran by the one guy.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
who
that fourth
came-
down play.
Yeah, who came and tackled
For a loss.
Knight for a loss, and now is Seahawks ball.
Yeah.
See,
And guys were illegal shift because 2 guys were moving before the ball was snapped.
yeah,
On
yeah,
top of it.
yeah. Dale, look, I agree with you 1,000. This offensive line, whether it's coaching or it got to be coaching because it's the same personnel basically.
Yeah, it hasn't
And
changed.
Look, Jonah Williams is like a sieve to the backfield anyway.
Yeah.
I mean,
He I don't think he ever recovered from that injury. He's stiff as a board. He can't move. And again, you got to give him credit for out there battling his tail off, but
He's not doing you any good.
No, that's the thing. You know?
And so that's all comes back to coaching. All those little things they make a difference. I felt so bad for Jonah Williams when they played the Packers because he had no clue against Michael Parsons.
Most
And
guys don't.
Yeah, but here's the deal. But the coaching staff didn't even use a back to chip. I mean,
Or tight end,
or whatever.
Until it was too late.
Yeah,
then they made it.
it's this coaching staff, and again, when you're down 35-0, and it's 8 minutes still to go in the second quarter, I'm like, my gosh, am I so glad I don't have to go in that locker room?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you how many of those pitiful locker rooms I've been in over the years. But it just drives me crazy that it took the third quarter for me to see an adjustment made.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you another question I want to ask you, and then Steve can take where he wants to go. So we see a successful organization in Detroit right now.
Mm-hmm.
Head coach not happy with the way the offense is working. On Monday, he sits down with the offensive coordinator and saying, "Hey, I'm going to give this a shot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still going to need you."
He
and
did
all
it in the
that."
middle of the game.
Wait, what's that?
He did it in the middle of the game.
Well, he sat down on Monday.
Oh yeah, but he pulled. He
and said
started intertwining during the game
that.
on the radio.
And he said, "I'm just not happy with the way things are going." So he made a change. And I've always said this: Bruce, if something's not working, change it. That might not work either, but at least you tried something.
It worked.
Yes.
Well, then Dan Quinn's taken over play calling on the defense from their defensive coordinator. He announced that yesterday up there in Washington as well. And then you got Jonathan Gannon. Kobe, play the clip again. My favorite part of Jonathan Gannon after the game on Sunday. Hey, any changes to your staff or anything need to happen?
Make lineup changes or staff changes at this time?
No.
Yeah, well, that's just part of the problem because, like I said, you can't wait till the third quarter or halftime to start making adjustments.
Right.
It's 35-0 now. Game's over, dude.
You got TVs on the sidelines now. And again, this isn't a one platoon system. Your offensive linemen aren't turning around playing defensive line like a 2A high school football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So check out. It's no question that from a preparation standpoint, that Seattle outfoxed the Cardinals coaches
They
because
outcoached
that's evident. So now you got to show me something from an adjustment standpoint,
Right.
And I'm looking for in-game adjustments, not till I go to the locker room.
Yes.
And so that again, I think the Cardinals coaching staff failed us again.
Coop, I've coached at SCA. Steve's seen me out there the last few years. I can make adjustments with guys going from defensive line to offensive line about, hey, they're playing a different defense than we expect them to play. So we're changing our pass protection call to this, and we're going to start running power instead of counter, and let's go with that. And boom, you're out on the field. You got an entire series to have the offensive line, quarterbacks, wide receivers to make adjustments. But the thing about that strip sack, to have it happen again?
That's the
Yeah,
problem. That's
Again?
exactly, Dale. Exactly,
Again?
exactly.
I thought they were showing a replay of the first
Yeah,
one.
man, that's my whole point. Where was the in-game adjustment?
Yeah,
You can't wait to halftime, dude. I mean,
that's where I draw the line, and for Coach Gannon to continue doesn't mean behind the scenes things are, but to sit there and just scoff at the guy reporting that no, there's going to be no changes. You got to keep in mind also now Brian Daboll just got fired in New York. Now they had some come behind victories here and things to that effect, and I expected him to get fired. I said that before the season. I thought it would happen by now. But Dart and Cam Scatterbo kept him around a little longer than I thought they would, right, to going into that. But teams are making changes, and the Cardinals are sitting here saying, nope, nothing. What changes have they made? We're seeing the same mistakes in the game repeatedly. The biggest thing to show you here, Brian Daboll and Jonathan Gannon, Daboll was there for 4 years. This is his fourth year. Jonathan Gannon's in his third year. Their records are pretty much the same. New York made it to the playoffs one time. Daboll did and got blown out. Gannon's never been to the playoffs in his 3 years either. But the Cardinals are 3-12 in the NFC West with Jonathan Gannon as your head coach. You are uncompetitive in your division, let alone anywhere else. So one good year last year where they finished with 8 wins, 9 wins, whatever it was, and you still are getting
They didn't have 9
dominated
wins.
in your division.
well, I think this sums it up. So you draft a receiver 4th overall in Marvin Harrison. And there was Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, other receivers on the board. But I didn't have a problem with this because I agreed with Monty Austinford here. But let's look at the guys that he has playing next to him. And you tell me if they do anything for you. Greg Dortch, Zay Jones,
Well, not
Simi
anymore.
Fehako,
Not anymore. He has a wrist injury.
Xavier Weaver. I mean, and then you drafted a Michael Wilson who had a history at Stanford of always being hurt.
Yeah.
Those are the receivers that you are trying to augment or make part of your receiver room.
Right.
And it does nothing. And I'm like, is this a financial situation? I mean, come on, man. I can find you guys sitting in their living rooms at home who've had better, like Robert Woods, just sitting at home, not doing anything. I mean, there are receivers there that have a better history, a better pedigree in the NFL than any of the guys I just mentioned.
Right.
And you don't do anything to bring.
Well,
them.
here's the thing: when Steve first played that clip of Jonathan Gannon, the proper answer there is, hey, anytime you get beat like we got beat today, I need to go watch film, and I will get back to you on Monday or Tuesday about changes that will be made because this is unacceptable. And leave it at that. No.
His press con. I don't have this clip, but his press conference yesterday, which is Monday press conferences, tend to be a little bit more of a hey, we need to do this stuff moving forward, right? As opposed to Sunday. We collectively allowed that to happen, all of us in there. So you can take that on the chin. He's not even taking responsibility as a coaching staff. He's blaming everybody, the players and everybody, that we allowed that to happen yesterday in his press conference. There's no responsibility. Jonathan Gannon thinks his system's right, and we just gotta figure out we're doing everything right. We just gotta work harder at it, or whatever the heck he says. It's disgusting. They don't know what they're doing. They have no clue what they're doing. They're doubling down and tripling down. It's getting worse, and it's infuriating.
Yeah, I think they felt that it said, wow, look, see the way Brissett's playing right now? We can buy ourselves another year, guys, by just saying that, hey, Kyler's the problem,
Right.
and we got Jacoby Brissett. But see, that went sideways Sunday in Seattle.
Well,
now going forward, there's going to be a lot of teams now that are going to look to bring pressure.
Absolutely.
And so how do the Cardinals respond?
The simplest thing to do is to put a running back next to your quarterback and stick that guy running up the middle.
Yeah, well,
they refuse
that
to do it.
But who's you going to do that with? And will he hold up against a blitzing
just
linebacker?
Slow him down for a second. Both of those fumbles, he was throwing the half of a millisecond would have given him time to get that.
How about
ball.
a hot read? You throw in.
That's my
I've
point.
always been told.
That's my point.
You throw in behind that blitzing linebacker
Because the guy's open.
because there's an open zone there.
You have to identify where the hot. I just said you have to identify where the
They
hots
don't-
are and get rid of it.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
don't do it. Every receiver's running a 10-yard comeback pattern and on every play. It's ridiculous. But Jonathan Gannon, 0-6 in 2023 against NFC West rivals. 2024, 3-3. This year, 0-3, obviously, to start the season. And
It
you
was
got the
3-3
Niners
last
coming
year?
after it. Yes.
Wow.
Best success for year for them out there. It tells you where this team is,
Well,
and even in a good year.
Who was their quarterback when they were 3-3?
Last year? Murray. Yeah. But remember,
Well-
they won some games last year.
God, they were 3-3.
it was tough.
I was not aware of that.
Here's my problem with Jonathan Gannon in this. Now, Jonathan Gannon, I do believe, might get another chance to come back. But if he does, it's blowing out that whole offensive side of things, and you're bringing in experienced people on that side.
Maybe
if you do that.
maybe you can pay Clay Adams to come back.
Yeah. Well, you know what? They were 3-3. I was not aware that they were 3-3 in division. I didn't pay any attention to that.
They beat the Rams. I think they swept the Niners last year, didn't they?
No, well, wasn't the same thing? Didn't they beat Seattle up there and they lost?
I know
to Seattle here?
they're like 0-9 against Seattle before even Jonathan Gannon. They haven't beaten Seattle since
Really?
like 2021.
Wow, so that means maybe Dale's right. Maybe they did sweep the 49ers and split with the Rams.
I think they split with the Rams last year. I know they split with the Rams last year, and I think they beat the Niners twice last year. If
Wow.
I'm going off of what I saw earlier, it's just what the thing that this Cardinals team, besides
Well,
the talent on the field,
What was the difference a year ago?
Kyler Murray. Well, no. Okay, this is the problem. Last year we were on Drew Penzing for half of the season on how bad he was. We started that here, and then all of a sudden Drew Penzing started opening up the offense a little bit, and they went on that running streak to finish it with what they finished with last year. And this year it's just the constant same thing. You can predict it happening every time when they come out.
Gee, Steve, you threw me a curveball. They were 3-3 in the division last year.
Thank God. Otherwise, they'd be 0-12 against.
Because they were like 8-9, or
Yeah.
I think they barely missed the playoffs by a game.
Yeah. They were out of it going into that last game. They lost. I can't remember if they had 8. I guess somebody should look it up, but I can't remember if they had 8 or 9 wins last year. But yeah, they were basically right there last year. That's why we all thought they'd take another step forward this year, and they regressed. It's just, I sit there and watch the All-22s, which I did yesterday. It is amazing to watch the All-22s. Everybody blames Kyler Murray. Everybody's blaming Jacoby Brissett for, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do that. This offense is unimaginative. They were out-coached. That's the type of game that gets people fired.
Yeah.
Now, their schedule does not get easier by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
And if you have another game or two like this, and then I would even argue it's worse that happens when you get out-coached by a younger, more hungry. Now, they have more talent, Seattle does. Let's all admit that. This was Seattle we're talking about. If this would have been the Titans, we'd be all in freak-out mode right now. I'm willing to give them a little bit of grace in terms of the beatdown because Seattle's really good. If they're not one of the best teams in the league, that's fine.
Well, here's the deal.
The problem that I have is zero fight, zero adjustments, and they just kind of. Jonathan Gannon walked into that press conference on Sunday like he was the king Mumbai out there, but just a swagger of confidence. And it's just, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, and you mentioned the schedule, and they still have 2 games on that schedule against the Rams, and I think the Rams might be the best team in the NFC.
They did sweep San Francisco last year.
Did they really? Okay.
Yeah. They have. I couldn't remember the last game of the year at home. I sold those tickets. I gave those tickets to my buddy to go to that one, but so I couldn't remember that game. But no, that's the problem. You sell like you said. I think Rams play Seattle this weekend. Actually, they do. They have to because the Niners play here. So that's going to be a fascinating series coming up. But you got the Jaguars, maybe the Falcons, Cincinnati Bengals with Joe Burrow. Surprise, back with them, and he wants to play by Thanksgiving.
Look. Here's the deal. If I'm and this is where if I'm Cincinnati, I got to help. Look, Cincinnati has lost some heartbreaking games because their defense is pathetic. It might be even worse than the Dallas Cowboys. So Joe said he would. There's 2 games to play before there is the Thanksgiving game. They'll likely lose both those, so they'll be 3-8. It's like, Joe, why come back? I don't want to risk any more injury.
Competitor.
Yeah, I don't want to. But look, I gotta. Sometimes I gotta help my players help themselves. There's no reason for him to come back because they're out of the playoffs.
I'll tell you why the coaching staff wants him back, because they're getting their butts fired if he doesn't come back and start winning.
Well, no, that gives them the excuse. We haven't had him since the first quarter of week 2.
I think the days of injury excuses are kind of gone right now.
But this,
because Brian Daboll would have that excuse right now.
Well, this is absolutely when you have one of the top quarterbacks in the league who goes down. Look, Browning clearly is not a guy that's good. That's why they wouldn't trade it for Joe Flacco.
Yes,
and so look, it makes a difference. It means everything. It's like taking Tom Brady from the Patriots when Brady was there. Yeah. And don't bring up Garoppolo and what he did. I don't.
Yeah, Bengals have Steelers this weekend. 3-6 Bengals right now is what they are looking at. So let's take our break here. Come back because we still have just really quick blurb on ASU. Kenny Dillingham spoke yesterday. Said some interesting things about their season because Kenny Dillingham agrees with me, gentlemen. Last week, I feel like somebody mocked me a little bit with me saying ASU's season has been better than expected with what they've dealt with in their schedule. Well, let's see what Kenny Dillingham has to say about it. First of all, thanks for listening, Kenny. Appreciate it, buddy. Come on back, guys, the main event. And we're back here. Robert, or actually, somebody chimes in and says the Seahawks are 9-0 since Sunday, January 19th, 2022.
9-0.
That's oddly specific there. Judging by the name, I think that might be Ethan there chiming in there. On
Well,
his,
why is
other
it not
account.
at school?
That's what I'm wondering.
Oh, it's Veterans Day.
Oh, that's right. It's Veterans Day. I told you he listens when he's out of school. Yeah, that's right. Coop, it's Veterans Day.
Hey,
Coop,
really?
what I'm starting to get worried a little bit about is we are seeing more eye to eye as we get older.
I know, that's what I was
like
gonna
this
say.
better when we're a
Yeah.
little bit younger, a little more feisty. We could find something to disagree with all the
Well,
time.
let me give you the opportunity here. Kenny Dillingham, of course, big game. It's supposed to rain this weekend. Great. 11 a.m. kickoff.
at Sun Devil at Mountain.
You can call it Sun Devil. We don't call it Mountain. Mountain America doesn't pay us to call it Mountain
11
America.
a.m. game here in
11
Phoenix?
a.m. Yep.
Oh,
I know.
geez.
Against West Virginia homecoming, no
Remember the
less.
good old days, Coop? You'd have to
know.
be there by 8 o'clock. And
That rain's supposed to be here this weekend, so we'll see how that goes for them. But Kenny Dillingham, it's about 1:16, so stay with us here because Kenny Dillingham likes to talk a lot when you throw him a question at him. But he has a unique perspective on his season. Here it is.
If we were healthy, I'd probably be not thrilled, but decently happy with where we're at. I mean, this conference is ruthless. It's really, really tough, and we've had a really, really tough conference schedule. When you look at who we've played and the rhythm of how we've played them, was it home, was it away? We played a really, really tough schedule. So with all the injuries, I'm very, very impressed by our guys' ability to just keep fighting and not just, cashing it in. Like, they want to make the most out of this season. And how you do that is you go to work today, tomorrow, and the next day. And we still have not played a good football game. That's the part that's the most frustrating to me as the head coach is why is our team, and I get it's hard when you have so many guys out and you have young guys playing. Okay, a young guy gets knocked backwards and holds on a kickoff return. Okay, don't do that again. Okay, you didn't do it again. But then another one of the freshmen did it. Oh, crap. Okay, you don't do that again, right? So, I mean, there's so many things that happen when you're playing into your depth that I don't know if I've done a good enough job adapting in areas to mitigate risk as opposed to continue to be aggressive. So I think I'm learning that I need to mitigate risk in some of these scenarios so we don't have catastrophes. And so, it may not be the best thing, but the negative side isn't as high. So I'm happy with where we're at. We've got a lot of season left to be played. I hope our guys are rejuvenated and ready to go these last 3 weeks because we face a team that's going to hit us in the face this week.
Man, what a genius Kenny Dillingham is right there. What a genius.
Well, let me put it to you like this. I'm not with Kenny Dillingham on that at all.
Really?
I'm not. I really feel they should be 8-1. They're 6-3. They had Mississippi State beat on the road. You don't allow a 58, 68-yard touchdown pass in the final second to lose that
cover
game.
zero,
Now,
yeah.
Granted, that was a non-conference game, but I'm still my overall record 7-2, and I still had Sam Levitt as my starting quarterback. Granted, he was getting knocked from the game and wasn't there for that last series at home against Houston, but they never should have been. Houston's already starting their backup quarterback.
Right.
They're playing, and they came into your house after you've already dominated better teams in your house in Texas Tech and TCU, and you allow Houston to pretty much dominate the game. And so it's inexcusable. In my mind, they should be 8-1. And sure, Sam Levitt's still done for the season. And look, they're not going to be playing. He says he's still looking for. They haven't played their best football. They're not going to play their best football the rest of the year because they don't have their best quarterback. They don't have their best. They just don't.
Well,
And so, but can they still win these games? I don't know. I mean, I've never really been a big fan of Jeff Sims, but I give him all the credit in the world for what.
You've got to beat West Virginia and Colorado. They are bottom feeders in this league. If you don't, it tells you something.
Yeah, for sure. Well, West Virginia's starting to
Yeah,
play
they won their last two.
all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But I'll just say this: that
Well, they played Houston. They beat Houston, and then they beat Colorado. So let's slow the roll on that, right?
well, we'll see once ASU plays Colorado.
Yeah.
But
well, they beat who?
Houston, yeah.
And what happened at ASU with Houston?
Yeah, well, I
Yeah,
don't,
okay,
I don't dispute
all right.
that.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not disputing that. It's just my only point on that is with the schedule they've had, and like I said, I did a
But
comparison against
despite
Arizona.
that, they should still be 8-1.
Okay, even
despite
with all
that.
that, even with everything happening,
Look,
because they weren't beating Utah
look.
and Utah, Coop.
No,
I don't care how healthy
that's
they
the
were.
one loss I gave them.
Yeah.
I'm not even disputing that.
But here's what I get tired of, Coop. All right? Because they said it when they were in the Pac-12. Oh, we just cannibalize each other. We just beat each other up week in and week out.
They
It's
have the
like,
hardest schedule in the Big 12.
You
Dale.
make it sound like you're in the SEC or the Big 10. You're in the Big 12. You got a couple elite
SEC.
teams, and even Texas Tech, who a lot of people think is elite, they can be beat.
Yeah, look if that's Bobby Hurley talking about the Big 12 being the best. And
Basketball?
I would say, okay,
Yes.
Bobby, you're giving that. But yeah, football, I agree with you 1,000. I agree. Look, in the Big 12, there's no Oregon, there's no USC in there. There's no Washington in there. I mean, that's what they had in the Pac-12. I mean, those teams were annually really good teams.
Yes.
Boy, you guys are hard to please. All
No. I just don't see that in football. I just think it's wide open, and I think that us seeing what Texas Tech is doing is proving that.
Well, that's my argument. It is wide
And
open.
since Cincinnati, they're proving that, and so I don't think that it's the gauntlet like the football conference that the Pac-12 was when ASU was in there. I just and so. And with that said, guys, just a play here, a play there. I mean, ASU could actually be 8-1.
Yeah, I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying their season is hey, look at their good season. I'm not saying that. I'm saying when you sit back and you look back at this season and they finish with 9 wins, let's say, you're going to go, wow, with Jeff Sims for a bunch of those years, without a lot of their secondary, their running game was decimated this year. Offensive line issues, losing seniors and having to go with freshmen and stuff to that effect. It's easy to sit back and once you get out of those expectations and to look at it from that side of things. That's all I'm saying. Because then you got teams like Arizona, who are winning. Give them credit. They're winning. They're beating the teams on their schedule. But they have an easier schedule than ASU does, for instance. This is what I hate about the big conferences. And I also hate how ASU has to duck BYU this year in Cincinnati. I'd like to see them play the best of the best to see how you match up. But then you got teams like Arizona. They have Cincinnati this weekend, right? And then
So they're ducking everybody?
ducking's the word. It's the schedule. It's not them.
Right.
But that's because of the big conferences allow this stuff. I mean, Arizona played Oklahoma State and Colorado already this year, right? The 2 worst teams in the Big 12. ASU only gets 1 of those in Colorado. I'm comparing the 2 schools to say they're doing what they're doing. But it is fascinating because of the expectation level, how people are down on ASU, and then everybody's up on Arizona. And Arizona is a middle-of-the-line
Hey,
Big
by
12
the way,
team.
understand this. Did you even know what happened this weekend when Arizona won?
Barely beat Kansas.
They became bowl
I
eligible.
know.
We don't talk about that in Tucson, Coop. That's expected. That's
Oh, no.
expected
That was all
in
over the
Tucson.
feed. That was all over the feed.
Right.
That was all over the feed.
Hey, all I'm telling you, Steve, as it relates to ASU, is that Kenny Dillingham raised the standard with what took place
I agree.
with what took place.
It's
with what took
disappointing
place
to the
last year.
standard that they
So,
had.
right, and so I'm not willing,
I agree.
as an ASU fan, to compromise those standards, especially when I look and I see that they had 2 very winnable games.
To expect them to play at that level when it's never happened before is unrealistic. That's all I'm saying.
Look. When you said never happened before, see, never happened before doesn't have a darn thing to do with this coaching staff or these players. That's what I always, when people try to tell me, well, we haven't beaten them since such and such a year.
Oh.
I said, well,
Your boy-
this team hadn't been playing
Your boy
since
in
that
Indiana
time.
said that in the interview before the sideline lady said, "Hey, you guys have never won at Penn State." And he goes, "This team's never played at Penn State."
Yeah.
And then he ran off.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he turned around and ran off.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful
Absolutely.
answer.
I
don't
agree with
disagree.
that.
I don't
I agree with
disagree.
that.
But at the same time, you got to go, man, they're doing this without. And I get it. It's disappointing. I'm
No,
not saying it's not.
but
I'm saying when we look
tell,
back
tell
on
me,
the season.
tell me who they were without when they played Mississippi State.
Well, don't forget Texas Tech had
No,
the
no.
backup
Tell me
quarterback
who
in there.
they were without when they
yeah,
played
and they didn't
Mississippi
show up
State.
and play. And they didn't show up and play.
But they
I
still
know.
should have won the game because they have the lead.
Except for their defensive coordinator loves covers 0 and getting beaten by a touchdown at the end.
So then my
That has nothing to do with Cam Scatterbo not being on the team. That has to do with a terrible play call.
Absolutely. So now you're saying so now you understand where I'm coming from.
No,
You're
I
saying
get it.
I should not be happy or acceptable.
I'm not
to
saying
what
I'm
you're
happy
saying.
about. I'm not happy about the season either. But what I'm saying is, oh dear God, this could have been way worse. And look at the way they're still fighting and they're still playing.
but
and that stuff.
here's
That's
what I
I'm
understand as I'm listening to you two argue over nonsense. Here's what I do understand what Steve's saying. You've been an ASU fan for 20, 30, 40 years. You're used to this.
48.
You're not used to having back-to-back seasons. And this is a pretty good follow-up to what was a magical carpet
And they
ride
can
last
build.
year.
They can build on this.
Well, look. I've seen
Yes.
this act before
Yeah.
under Bruce Snyder.
Oh,
Yeah.
that
I've
was
seen
awful.
yeah. Well, no, the Rose Bowl, and then the very next year
The
they
next
come
year.
back and they won 10
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
I've seen this act with Todd Graham. They've had back-to-back
Yep.
10-win seasons
Yes, they
and
did.
played here for a conference championship game
Yep.
against Stanford and lost. So, look, I get where you're going. Look, just like then, when they raise the standard, your expectations are
don't
raised.
disagree.
If you don't hit them, then there's disappointment.
I-
They're not
yeah.
hitting my standard or the standard that they set a year ago, so I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I understand that. It's the same thing. Like all the Cardinals people, like there's an influencer that's Mr. AZ Sports. I'll just call him out here, right? I get a kick out of his posts because he's like, "Oh, Cardinals have had one playoff of thing in 10 years. They need to change their standards." Yeah, as a Cardinals fan since '86 here and rooting for them since they're the home team, this is what the Cardinals do. They finished with 8 wins last year, and then they regressed. That's what they do every year. To be disappointed that's what you get. Yes, the expectation was they go up there, but then at the same time, those of us that have been around a long time, we go, yeah, it seems about right.
Valley fans have been beaten down so often.
That's what happens.
As you just kind of get used to it. You're just kind of like, well, here we go again.
And it's like, all right, let's see what'll happen next year. Can we rebuild this? Or I even put it out on Sunday. Great, another coaching staff change. Just what we need in our lives here in Arizona, right? Another thing to look at here. I mean, Ketel Marte seriously being looked at to be traded here coming up because his 10-6 rights and all that stuff come due this year.
It's 10-5
Or
rights.
10-5 rights, and that means 10 whatever, right? Whatever the numbers are.
10 years,
Um,
five of the
five
organization.
same
So
team.
basically,
Five
gets a
same
no
team.
trade clause, et cetera, on that front. Diamondbacks, I find this interesting because Diamondbacks refuse to change the culture that they have built here with the coaching staff change. They're sticking with that culture that's there. And instead, they're looking at changing the culture by moving the best second baseman in baseball. It's an interesting message they're sending.
Well, I'll put it to you like this. You talked about being decimated with injuries. that organization, that team a year ago was decimated with injuries. And here's the deal.
Especially on the pitching side.
Yeah. And here's the deal. They're not going to have their ace Corbin Burns back. They're not going to have their two co-closers back in AJ Puck and Martinez.
Maybe July.
Yeah. So you can't sit back and wait till July till these guys come back. You have to go out and you have to address the issues of starting pitching, the issues of closers, and that bullpen. You have to. And so what's the best way to do that? Well, if you don't have those players on the farm, you have to do it via trade because they're not going to be big spenders in free agency.
Yeah.
They're just not there, not how they're built. So what is their best chip, their best tradable chip in terms of return? Well, yes, it would be Ketel Marte.
Yeah, Corbin Carroll. Why don't we trade Corbin Carroll
No,
then?
I'll tell you why.
He'll get you a ton. He's got a favorable contract.
No,
He's got all that.
I'll tell you why. It's called youth. It's called years. See, I got a guy that's in his 20s versus a guy that's 32.
No,
and
it comes down to the attitude.
Yeah. Well. You look. We haven't even gotten into him his availability.
His shenanigans.
Or things like that. Or his non-availability or whatever.
Yeah.
So we haven't even gotten into that. But I from that standpoint, I could see where the Diamondbacks would use that chip. And I will say this, that some of the young talent on this team, on the farm, can be found in the middle infield. I
Yeah,
do
but they have a lot of middle infielders that
sure.
could come up and have success.
And I do like what I saw from Blaze Alexander at third base to the point to where, yeah, I'm okay with coming back with him. He may not be the big stick that we had with Suarez, but he has I don't want to say a Brooks Robinson like glove, but he has a cannon. So he has a nice glove and a cannon for an arm. So I liked him at third base. So I'm not really sure where you are with Jordan Lawler.
I want to see what he can do. They didn't get. He's not getting opportunities to
Well,
show
he
if
gets
he's
hurt
the
every
guy.
time he blinks his
That's
eye.
the problem.
But they have other middle infielders.
I'm not
young,
willing to throw Lawler out with the bathwater.
Right,
yet.
right. But they have other young middle infielders on their farm like Tim Tawa, like Groover, like Gino Groover, and people like that are kind of interesting.
My issue with the Marte trade is you're not going to get the equal value back. You're going to get less. So what is if you're just trading Marte for prospects, a garbage trade? Don't even do that. You need top level talent that is major league ready today coming back for him.
Right. If they traded Marte, trust me, it would be for someone with major league experience.
I don't trust the Diamondbacks to do anything.
Oh, there's no way you could trade Marte for just prospects. If you're looking for starting pitching or you're looking for bullpen help in return,
don't trade Marte for bullpen help or closers. Those guys are come and go.
Okay, so
even the good teams don't have closers for like 4, 5, 6, 7 years in a row unless they're like Hall of Fame material.
Okay,
closers come and go in years and twos.
But
starting pitching must be the spot. But are you going to pay the guy that you bring in?
No, okay. Let's look at the world champion.
Go get Skubal.
Let's look at the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah.
Okay. Do they have any starting pitching? Because let me tell you something. They would be interested as heck in a Ketel Marte. Do they have any starting pitching outside of Yokomoto that you'd be interested in? Okay, and then you move on to the next one. How about the?
Because you're going to get a Blake Snell or somebody at that point. You don't want a Blake Snell here when you just went through the Montgomery experience.
I'm just saying that you start looking at teams that spend big money.
I don't disagree. But that's what I'm saying. Starting pitching to me is more important than
that have starting.
If you get a top end closer, unless he's a Hall of Fame type material, he's going to be gone in 2 years. That's what the Diamondbacks do with their closers. They come in, they're hot for a year, and then they flame out, and you stay with them too long, and you miss out in the playoffs because you leave Sewald out there for too long.
But I can tell you this, because I know this is the next subject we're going to touch on real briefly as we're running out of time. I think by moving Ketel Marte, I think that you're not losing as much as you think you are, because I think that he's a downer in the clubhouse, a lot
I
like
agree with you.
Kevin Durant brought this team down, and it's more and more evident with each passing game that I see this new Suns team play. And the guys that were here last year play. I don't. Again, we talked about during the season last year. You set out the Sunday game before the All-Star break.
Oh, just you foul a ball off your ankle and you have to miss.
You take
2
the
or 3
Sunday
games.
game on. You're going to play 2 innings in the All-Star game.
And there's no question. If you look at his bat, you look at his stats, that the guy can carry you offensively. There's no question about it. So he can bring you back something in return for sure.
Yeah.
But if you want to talk about switch gears and talk Phoenix Suns,
slide right into it.
Since Dale brought it up, I have to admit I am very, 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 very pleasantly surprised by what I'm seeing.
Right.
And what I'm seeing is the Suns play really, really pressure defense on the perimeter, and there's 3 guys in particular that stand out, and there's no surprise: Dylan Brooks, Ryan Dunn, and Colin Gillespie. Yeah. They really put a lot of pressure on the perimeter. And so now I find that I see that it's infectious. Sometimes you see, we're seeing Devin Booker revert back to some of his Olympic playing days on the defense. He's diving on the floor for loose balls. But I'm like, okay, D-Book, we just need you to keep doing what you're doing offensively, because he's starting to carry. So as much as I heard about Mark Williams and his proclivity for the injury, I mean, the guy is providing just what you wanted.
He's running.
The rim protection and running. And here is the thing that I love the most from this Phoenix Suns team. I love it the most. Haven't really seen this type of movement offensively since Monty Williams was X'd out. Because under Frank Vogel, under Mike Budenholzer, I saw this too many times. ISO ball with Durant on one side or Booker on one side, and then when they get doubled, it's a turnover the other way. Now we're seeing a lot of on-ball screens, a lot of back cuts, a lot of moving. No one stays in one position. There is a lot of half-court movement. And so now, as a result, I'm seeing some guy named Grayson Allen, just light it up from the outside. Some guy named Royce O'Neal just light it up from the outside. And so those are two guys that I was looking to trade at the trading deadline. But the way they're shooting, the way this team is moving, and it's so unfortunate that Jalen Green suffered that re-aggravated that hamstring injury, because the way he can get to the paint and kick, I mean, and then
when he was in
it's amazing. He had 29 points in his season debut, and this is what I love the most about this team. They look like they're having fun. I point you. I don't know if you guys were watching the game last night. Grayson Allen is 1-3 away from establishing a new team record.
Yep.
And so the whole team knows it. And there are two players on that bench that seem that they enjoyed it more than Grayson Allen, more than anybody. And neither one of them were on the team a year ago. Mark Williams and Jalen Green. I don't know if you saw their reaction.
Yeah.
They were overjoyed. Even during the interview that they were trying to do with Grayson Allen postgame, Jalen Green and Mark Williams both came up. I mean, they were they were happier for Grayson Allen than Allen was. You hear about Devin Booker talking about, yeah, man, he needed that. Everybody on the bench knew it. The team is aware of it. They're pushing. Grayson Allen even says in an interview, I love Phoenix. I love the fans. They embrace me. The teammates embrace. They enjoyed it more than he did. And so this team, for the first time in 2 years, looks like, and I should go back more than that, because even when they went to the finals, Monty's last couple of years there, you could tell something wasn't right. I mean, obviously,
his attitude with Ayton and all that.
That brought a cancer.
And then who was the other center he had a problem with? Ran him out of town. The European guy. Anyway.
Big white guy, the foreigner.
Nurkic.
Nurkic. Yeah, it's just when that happens between coach and players, I think it goes negative.
And so, but this team, they're having fun. They're enjoying themselves. I'm finding myself smiling and laughing with them from the joy that they're having. But more than anything, I love the half-court movement. There's no more ISO ball. Everyone's moving, and it just becomes infectious.
How many times over the years did you see last second and a half, last shot in the half, last shot of the game, Devin Booker dribble, and then end up with a fall-away three with two guys in his face? I agree with you. And Steve, I mentioned it before Bruce got here. That's what I want to see from this team. I want to see them having fun. When you have fun doing something, you can actually be a mediocre to mediocre plus team.
Yeah.
And if you're having fun and enjoy playing with each other, you're going to become a B plus talented team.
Look at me here. I'm just mediocre. Look, I'm having a blast
Well,
today.
below mediocre, we bring you up to mediocre.
Yeah, is that what it is? Yeah, and I'm having a blast here as well. I mean, but the thing that tells me what this coaching staff is putting together here, you got to give them a lot of this credit, is the players, like you said, players look like they're having fun. The crowd and the building look, now they're winning, right? They're 6-5 now. They're what, 5-1 at home, I think. So they're winning at home, so the crowd's into it and stuff. But then like Mark Williams, he'll defend the rim, get the rebound, and he's running down that court, which is making the other. You can literally see, especially in that close Clippers couple games, end of last week. You can watch the Clippers had no interest. Zubac had zero interest in running up and down the court. And you see this with this team. That's why I think they cover their 33. I think that's why they get at least to the playing game, is because this team playing like this is going to beat some teams that don't like to play this time of year. And they are doing it. They're playing hard, and it's fun to watch. And this coaching staff does not get enough credit. I'll still knock them for Malawach and Fleming's playing time. Get them out there, man. Now's the time to get them out there, right? Before you get into January, February, March, and he's not doing that. But other than that, I like what they're doing.
Well, let me tell you another thing that I'm seeing, because you mentioned the bigs. I mean, all their bigs, Richards.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not doing service by just saying Williams.
Also, Iguodala, they're all running the court. But here's the deal: if you watch the game last night, you know, and we still know that the closest thing to a traditional point guard that the Suns have on their roster is Colin Gillespie.
Yeah.
But if you're watching last night, look at the different people that were bringing the ball up the court. Oso Iguodala was bringing it up.
Yep.
Royce O'Neal, Grayson Allen, Devin Booker. I mean, they don't have any one guy that they're limiting it to, and so it creates. There's this involvement. You know how if you feel like you're in the game.
Well, what's it do for the defense?
Yeah. It energizes you. It puts you in the game. You're because before, you know, they're looking to either have Booker or Bill bring it up, and then they're looking to ISO him, and everybody else just stands around. So now you don't have that juice or that flow or that vibe in the game. I'm telling you, Jordan Ott. I got to admit this: when the Suns named him the new head coach, and then you found out that there was a small Michigan State tie to it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, here we go again.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, please. I mean, but I'm gonna tell you something. This guy, I like everything I'm seeing about it. Now, I was critical of him earlier because I like you. I wanted to see more of Man, which they call it Malowich, and Fleming. I want to see more of your two top draft picks play. But the way these guys are playing, the way they're competing, I mean, even Jordan Goodwin, he gets in there and he's so scrappy. I mean, they got a bunch of scrappy dudes that you just want to say, get the heck off of me. I mean, I'm watching last night Jose Alvarado for the Pelicans. This guy he's just such a pest. He always bothers the Suns. Do you know that the Suns outpested Alvarado last night? Alvarado had enough. I mean, Gillespie, and I saw him. He didn't play much of the second half. He had something around his waist there. I hope he's not injured. But they just bring so much tenacity, so much energy. And so it's just an infectious thing that, I mean, it's just enjoyable to watch. I mean, like you talked about, this team will get up and down the floor. They'll get up and down the floor.
It's like they're playing at different speed than and then they got the Mavericks tomorrow night. Mavericks with Cooper Flag, so a lot of people will be seeing Cooper for the first time. But the Mavericks are not good.
Well, they have some injuries.
Mavericks.
They have some injuries right now. I mean, they don't have obviously Kyrie's not playing,
Kyrie's
but street clothes is back to being street clothes. You know.
By the way, the Mavericks are expected to fire Nico Harrison this morning.
They fired him?
No, they're expected to.
Everybody's saying he's being fired today. Which, how would you like that? You're going into work and you're like, oh, everybody knows I'm getting fired today. All right. I mean, he knows. What I don't get about that is I know there's an ownership change and everything, but you let him trade your superstar guy and then a year later, only give it a year before you fire him. That makes zero sense.
Yeah. But here's the deal. If I'm the Lakers, I'm thanking Nico Harris for this because Nico pointed out Luka's lack of conditioning.
Yes.
And he clearly is overweight. We all saw it. We all saw what Luka says, okay.
He looks good.
He looks good. This dude, it wouldn't surprise me if he averaged 40 now. Because he's in shape for the first time in his NBA career.
And would he have done that in Dallas?
I don't know that he would have.
Well, he wasn't doing it, that's for sure. I mean, there's a legit question. LeBron's going to be back here in another couple of weeks, and the way the Lakers are playing right now without him, there's a serious question of, is LeBron comes back to this Lakers, is he going to screw him up? And is he going to mess them up enough that they're 8-3 right now? Are they not going to play the same when he comes back and slows them down?
First of all, DeAndre Ayton's not going to continue to play the way he is.
He's been on fire.
I trust me. I mean, he has a history. We know that's going to end. But I tell you what, I think it would hurt him because right now Austin Reeves is just playing his behind off, and he's playing his behind off because he's. Even when Luka was out, he had like a 50-point game.
Yeah, it was at least 46. I don't remember if there was much more than that.
Yeah. I mean, he's felt like he was that number one option. Now he's clearly the number two, and so he's getting a shot. So if LeBron comes back,
well, Luka passes the ball. Luka does not get enough credit for his assists and his passing of the ball. He's not that superstar. Whereas LeBron, the ball stops with him, right? And you have to kind of move it around.
Well, I thought that in LeBron's career, he got criticized too much for not being the guy that would take that shot. He was always deferring.
passing it.
Yeah, and so
That was early on, not
yeah,
anymore.
yeah, and I just don't think that the Lakers will be able to sustain this. I really don't.
Luka, by the way, is 30. I don't think so. I think their age is going to kind of. But Luka took an obvious. The Mavericks are pretty much the same team. They added obviously, street clothes there, but he took them to the Western Conference Finals with minimal talent. So why can't he do that with the Lakers? The difference is you didn't have Kyrie Irving could play within that system. Can LeBron play within that system?
Luka's averaging 37 points and
Yeah.
9 assists a game.
DeAndre Ayton has a 67% field goal
Hey,
percentage. right now.
DeAndre Ayton might be
16
all
points
NBA
per
this
game.
year.
What's he averaging? I think he's averaging
16 and a half.
double-double, right? Huh?
16 and a half points.
8
Is
rebounds.
what he has, yeah. Is it 8 rebounds?
Yeah. He like a game I watched him the other was last week, late last week. I mean, DeAndre had something like 28 and 18. I'm like, that ain't gonna last. That ain't gonna last.
So, Coop, appreciate you coming and joining us always on Tuesday. Jonathan Gannon, who in this Cardinals coaching staff, if you had to predict right now, is not going to be here after the season? Are they going to make changes?
I think they do because look, if you look at the rest of their schedule, I mean, I only see maybe 2 wins. So that's a 5-12 record, man. 5-12 ain't gonna cut it.
Right.
Yeah, and I think of coaching staff, I think in terms of tickets, which I know they don't care about tickets as much as they used to, but I think you have your fan base turning apathy here, and that's the biggest. And especially if they're blowouts, there will be big changes.
The ugly ones.
And I don't know if you can keep. Now the Giants are doing that. They fired Daboll, but they're keeping their god awful GM on the other side, of it right now, and he's going to lead the search, which I don't know what the Giants are doing. So if you do have to make a change in head coach or a lot of the coaching staff, do you keep Monty at that point?
I think Monty's safe. I think. Look, I can take you back to 2012 and see no owner likes to be blown out.
Yes.
I was in Seattle.
Was that 56 nothing?
58 to nothing.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Ken Wisenhunt and Rod Graves were given their papers.
No.
And the owners don't want to be embarrassed.
No.
Now, 35 to nothing at halftime.
Especially
That
against a division foe.
Absolutely.
take that into
That's why people are calling 35 to nothing at halftime the second worst that they ever seen associated with the Cardinals, because 58 nothing was the worst.
Yeah.
But at least this team, they started to come back. They gave a little fight in the second half. And I do know this that both
It was smoke and mirrors.
both of their touchdowns were like a fumble inside the 5 and another interception.
Then they had
on the 5.
that 79-yard drive for a touchdown. Yeah, and then it was the fumble.
Yeah.
That's what Seattle
so
does. They get the big lead, and then
they let off. I know. I get that.
All I know, Coop, is I won some money because at halftime, the Cardinals were plus 33, and I took them. I figured Seattle would let off the gas a little bit, and sure enough, winner.
Robert says, "I'll take Shohei for Marte." I'm not going to argue with
Robert,
that.
I
but
like that.
But I'd rather have Yamamoto. I'm not going to lie to you. Yamamoto is a better pitcher. At least.
Oh, stop.
I'm with Robert. Give me Shohei.
But by the way, if you get Shohei, are you selling the team within 5 years? So you had to play that deferred money?
Right before you have to start paying it, you unload it. Coop, as always, thank you. For everybody else, have a good Veterans Day out there. I know there's parades all around town today as well. So watch your traffic out there as well. And we'll see y'all tomorrow. No other shows here today due to the markets being closed, etc. We'll be back tomorrow. Regular schedules. Come and join us, would you? The main event with Bruce Cooper on Tuesday.